All right, so this is a little bit of a different video. Every now and again, I happen to get annoyed with social media because I feel that content creators have a responsibility in order to inform people of things that are transpiring, going to transpire, or some things that are just off in the wind and you can maybe hear some whispers, right? So currently at this moment in time, we are on the DHS government website. You can clearly see it. Anybody can click directly on it and go there themselves and see this information. So if anybody who's watching this video watched the live stream that I did previously, I put up a video, I posted a video that had a news clip that went over the Real ID. And they stated that the video was made back during the pandemic, but the things that were going to be issued out dealing with the Real ID were going to take place. These things were already established. It was established back in 2005 during the Bush administration, right? So I felt the need to reinform people just in case some people might be a little bit late or did not specifically, get an update on their ID. So again, we can clearly see in real time in 4K, it says on the DHS government website that the countdown to Real ID enforcement is 335 days, 2 hours, 29 minutes, and 8 seconds. And then this is what it states underneath the counter. It says on May 7th, 2025, United States travelers must be Real ID compliant to board domestic flights and access certain federal facilities. Now, again, with the information that you're clearly able to see in front of you, what would be the reason to ban, to almost strike, to strip down the video of the information that you see directly in front of you? Again, I have no clue. Now, in the gift that I have directly in front of you guys, you can clearly see I made sure to try to have the time directly up there, and you can see pretty much everything. Sorry if some of the ones to the far right are a little bit blurred for whatever reason. I have no clue why the video came out that way when the screen capping it directly off my phone. But for the first image, you can clearly see video remove. They said this video violates our community guidelines. They said warning received. You received a warning for your first violation. The next violation will result in a strike. To find out how this affects your account, visit such and such and such, right? They said that the reason why this violates their terms of services, right? They said that the reason that they removed it is because it violates personal information. Now, note, this was the first one where they stated this, right? And this is going to be very important. They said it violates violation reasons, personal information. We are committed to making sure that any personal information shared internationally or accidentally on TikTok does not lead to harm. We do not allow content that includes, I'm guessing, personal information, because when I went back to try to find that exact instance of that message, it's no longer there, right? So this is the new message, and this is directly off of the phone. This is the new message that they have up, specifically stating the reason why they took down the video. So this is the new excuse. Reason for ineligibility: alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. While adults make personal choices about how they engage with alcohol, drugs, and tobacco, we recognize that there are risks connected to trading and using these substances. Content is ineligible for the For You feed and harder to find and search if it shows adults consuming excessive amounts of alcohol or tobacco products. Really? But matter of fact, let me just do this. Let me show you the same video that I had up during the live stream. Let me show you specifically what it is that I put up.
Ready, the clock is ticking, and if you don't have one by this time next year, you could be out of luck at the airport. After several pandemic pauses, you'll finally need it to travel starting next year.
All right, and if you don't have one or aren't sure if you do, you're definitely not alone. Fox 5's Sharon Crowley has what you need to know.
I wanted one so I could travel, and they have a 3D picture on it, and it's a better form of ID.
This New Yorker says she's ready, and he is too.
I remember coming here to make sure I got one in time. The deadlines got pushed, so it didn't really matter, but I'm happy I have one.
But data shows many other travelers may not know. This time next year, the federal government will require a real ID or valid passport to board a domestic flight. The Real ID Act was passed by Congress in 2005. Lawmakers took the advice of the 9/11 Commission, who suggested creating federal standards for identification following the terror attacks.
You either have a real ID, which has a star on it, or you have an enhanced driver's license, which has a flag on it, or you have a passport.
In order to get a real ID, you have to go to the DMV in person. This is not something you can do through the mail. And once you're there, you have to have proof of U.S. citizenship and proof that you're a resident of the state that you live in.
You have to make sure if you've had any name changes that those are all accounted for as well. And that's one of the problems that we often see trip people up.
Implementing this new law
Sometimes you got to question these platforms and wonder why it is that they decide they want to hide certain types of information. And again, this is information that anybody can directly get to. I just placed it up there because I felt that it was important for everybody to be up to date on their identification. But obviously, TikTok sees that differently, and they wanted to state a variety of reasons of why they wanted to take down the video. So again, you were able to see all the proof that I have provided. Nothing was fabricated. Nothing was falsified. I'm not lying directly on the platform at all. I'm just showcasing the fact that at any given moment in time, any of these platforms can decide to just make any type of rule that they feel just because they feel like it. Now, again, looking at the DHS website, the .gov website, which I did provide directly to TikTok, they didn't want to take that. Looking at the fact that I did try to appeal twice and they decided, hey, we're not going to reinstate the video. Again, it doesn't make any sense. I read the very first example on why it is that they stated that, the video was wrong because they said, oh, personal information. It was a fake ID that was directly up there that they were using for the news story to give you an example on what the real ID was going to look like, right? So even with that, even giving them the proof of the DHS website and also talking about the real ID, the information that is directly involved, they tend not to listen. Not only that, but they turned back around and falsified the reason why it is that they decided to go back on it. First, they wanted to say, oh, because of personal information and we don't want anything getting out internationally or whatnot or whatever because it may harm somebody's yada, 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 right? Then the next one, can't go back and find that one now. So now the next one they give alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. Where in that video are we showcasing or talking about alcohol, tobacco, or drugs? Where? I'm just trying to figure out. I'm a little bit confused at this moment in time how this is even working. But again, let me know what you guys think about this video and all the information I provided directly in front of you in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.
Another one.
So after looking back at the first part of the video, I did notice that a person did show an ID, but it was blocked and it wasn't enough that you could see anything. But it still does not account for the reason that they said one thing and then switched directly to another. Again, the reasoning does not 100% make sense at all. Didn't even have to go to this extent, but it's TikTok.